Happy Magic Monday, Collective Consciousness. This is Nicole Marie, your Astrologer and Transformation Coach, using the tools of astrology, tarot, sound healing, and ritual. This is your weekly moon forecast for April 29th to May 5th, 2019. This is a powerful week. Not only is it the beginning of May, it is also Beltane and a new moon in Taurus. There is a lot of energy happening this week. So let's dive in. We begin this Magic Monday with a Pisces moon until Wednesday. Then Wednesday, the moon will move into Aries. And then by Friday, the moon will be in Taurus for the weekend. So, Magic Monday, Pisces moon. Now, we felt this Pisces energy on Sunday, and so whatever the themes that were arising during that time will progress during the next few days. So, Pisces moon is connected to Neptune, the planet of our imaginational realm. Now, Pisces is a very powerful water sign, but Pisces is also the archetype of the healer and one that represents the many faces of the self. So because Pisces is at the end of the zodiac, it means that Pisces have gone through all the different archetypes of the zodiac. So it already has been Aries and Taurus and Cancer and Gemini. And so that's why at the end of this cycle, Pisces can seem very scattered, if you will, if you look at them in this direct way, because they have all these different ideas, all these different opinions, and all these different ways of living their life. Now, in our Western world, we're taught to have one talent, one direction, one goal, one life. But when we start experiencing Pisces energy, it's like we could be all these different things to all these different people and to ourselves, which can get confusing if you lived in the realm of trying to have one identity. So Pisces gets easily overwhelmed, overly sensitive, because they're a water sign. They not only feel themselves, but they feel everyone around them. And so they're easily agitated, they're easily overwhelmed by, other people's opinions of them. Because, imagine if you're talking to someone that has no center of self, because their self is everyone. It's overwhelming. So when you're working with Pisces energy, it's really important to, and I'm saying there's a Pisces energy within you. Just because you're not a Pisces sun doesn't mean you don't experience Pisces energy. So wherever Pisces is in your chart is where you have these feelings of overwhelm, of oversensitivity. Maybe sometimes it just has to do with daily work. Like you're just so all over the place that it's hard to do and maintain a routine. Or maybe you have Pisces energy in the 10th house of your career, and it shows all these different like you've had so many different types of careers. It's not because you lack the drive or lack the focus, it's because you have this capability of putting on many masks, which if we embrace more, and especially, I just have to say, in the startup world, everyone's being asked to wear many different hats. If you're starting your own company, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to wear so many different hats. And that's kind of where the work is going these days. Even in the film industry, you don't just be a director now. Now an actor has to be a director and a producer and an artist. So everyone's learning to take on all these different qualities. So what this means is it gives you a chance at the beginning of the week to use your skills in a way that helps you collaborate well with others, for you to understand where things feel good and don't feel good. Because you'll be so sensitive, you'll be more aware of wow, I really don't like working with this person. So you have an understanding like, okay, maybe I shouldn't work with this person. And, then you have to work with this other coworker or other organizer, and you're like, wow, this person feels amazing. They're really supportive. They listen to me, and I feel like I can shine with them. So you get to determine, based off of what doesn't feel good, of what you just stop putting your energy into and you focus into what does feel good. Also, on Wednesday, the moon will move into Aries, which is this powerful energy for May 1st, which in Celtic traditions we call Beltane. All sorts of people have, but cultures and traditions and have all their different ways of celebrating May 1st. In Berlin, Germany, we celebrate with a whole day of where nobody works and everyone plays. In Celtic tradition, it's about merging the masculine and the feminine qualities. So the fact that we have an Aries moon on this night really shows that we are awakening that our inner hero, because Aries is the hero of the zodiac. He's the newness, he's the beginning, he's the fool. And so this is a time of the fool, of however you want to see him, as a hero or the fool. It's really about seeing life from a new beginning. Looking at your life, your creation, how you're living your life, like, where is it that I can begin again? What do I need to release in order to stay focused on my goals and my path? And so Beltane is about a combination of looking at your masculine energy and also your feminine energy. So you already had this very powerful Pisces energy at the beginning of the week, which will show kind of more your feminine qualities. What do you need nurtured more? What do you need to have more self-care and self-protection around? And then you have this masculine energy will last until Friday, and so you're looking at, how do I create a new commitment for myself, a new commitment in relationship to others? And this is a beautiful time to celebrate what has already been created and what wants to be born again. Then we have this powerful new moon in Taurus on Saturday for May 4th, 2019. And, Taurus has gone through a lot of energy this year, this past year and a half, because Uranus is now in Taurus. So anytime when we move into a zodiac sign where other planets are currently in their transit of the zodiac sign, for example, Uranus in Taurus, that also gets highlighted. So this new moon in Taurus is really about setting new goals for your relationship with nature. Now, it seems like a really big concept, but it's also talking about, yes, having better awareness with your own relationship to your environment, meaning, are you planting more trees? Are you recycling? Are you doing everything that you can do to help the current climate crisis of the world? Do you need to go and attend an activist meeting? Do you need to go and see what is your local community doing about the environmental issue? This can also mean just having a better relationship, meaning going out for more walks, being in nature, and also your inner nature. So what this means is looking at your creative self. The fifth house, or Taurus, is ruled by the second house, which is all about money and self-worth. But when you look at it from a creativity aspect, Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is our creative life. And we have to look at, what new commitments do we need to make towards our creative life? And sometimes we want to be big and we want to be bold and we want to say yes to things that have this appearance. But sometimes being bold is not really what our soul needs to develop a better relationship. So you really need to tune in to what it is that you need to develop on a soul creative level to have a better relationship. Do you need to make more time in your everyday life for your creativity? Because then it just piles up and you want to explode from not doing it, and having a steady goal or a steady intention in your everyday life. So I'm just really welcoming a chance to look at what new changes do you want to make to your everyday life. Not just these big statements, but how do you make a daily statement of changing the environmental cause and doing your creative work. You don't write a book in a day, you write page by page every day. So I really encourage, how at the beginning of this week was all about making a new commitment to those inner masculine and feminine qualities and to your relationships. And now it's making a commitment to your creative self, the bigger self, the higher self, however you want to define it. But how are you working with your creative life force energy? Gaia, Mother Earth, gave us life for us to be vessels to create her visions. It's simple as that. We try and define ourselves through our career and through being an artist or being all these things of the world. And something that I really discovered in this life, and also through a lot of my clients, is that, we've been told that we have to make a name for ourselves in a creative path. But that often kills our creativity when we are trying to have a name in a nameless world. So look at your relationship to creative energy. Do you feel like you're not creative? That is impossible. I want you to know this for a very fact, that the seed of your soul was born from creativity, and thus everything that you do in between comes from a creative life force energy. Again, call it what you will, but it knows you by your name. So when you define your creative talent, skill, lifestyle, then this is what you really need to find a new creative path for, a new commitment towards. So it's a very powerful week, and let's just dive into, how can we work with this energy? So the goddess of the week is Cordella, and she says, go outside. And she said, you have been indoors too long, go outside and get some fresh air. Did I not already say this? This is the goddess speaking, and she says, yes, go out and play in the sunlight. Kind of lower your workload this week so you have time to explore the outer world. So the tarot cards say that the overall energy of the week is the Magician. So this is what I'm talking about. Magician always represents the combination of the physical world and the imaginational realm. That you have one hand doing the work, typing the paper, while you're listening to your creative impulses. So one hand's up in the air, the other hand is in this world. And so you're learning to balance, so we have a Pisces energy, right, at the beginning of the month, so we're very much in our imaginational realm. We're like, woo, this is fun and filled with fantasy. But then the physical world, which when we can feel in Aries, where we're so focused, so determined that we don't think of anything else, that's where we're like, kind of maybe forget about the imaginational realm and just get so focused on the earthly plane. Now, Taurus is about the combination of those two. Because it's ruled by Venus, Venus is an earth goddess. Venus is of earth, and why we're here to use our talents and our creativity to make things work. Yet the conflict for the week, my dears, is justice. Justice is a very powerful card where we are learning to overcome karmic patterns. So things may feel unfair, unjust, feelings of betrayal or lack of worth. All these limiting beliefs arise right before a new moon. It always happens. We always feel almost at our worst during the balsamic moon, which is 3 days before the new moon. This is where we are at our darkest. Why do we go to the darkest? Why do we have to embody and be the shadow? It teaches us. It moves us deeper into love for ourselves. So this justice card, whatever's not working in your life, whatever doesn't feel good anymore, it's time to shed it, to take different steps, to reprogram, and to be thankful for all that was and all that is and all that ever will be. And be born again. Again and again and again. This is the message of this season, that it is literally time to feel fresh. The past, yes, it lives in you. It will always be there. But what do you do with its blessings? What do you do with the trauma, the pain, the betrayal, the suffering? We've all been there. We've all experienced it. No one does not get to feel the pain of this world if you are of this world. But the pain is not the hard part. The pain is in choosing something else than the pain. So the solution to this week from the Tarot deck is reverse Ten of Swords. It shows by this new moon in Taurus that the sacrifice was worth it. That everything that we had done and let go of, there was a bigger reason for it. That there will be a gift given, which often is just a new perspective, a new lens in which to see life. So, my dears, the unicorn magic for your everyday connection to how do you connect to your magic is through the unicorn of the goddess. And she says, honor your divine feminine energy, see your inner beauty, love every part of you. Now, goddess is really overused, I think, in the past couple years. And so there's a lot of, and I don't want to say overused in the sense that, I've heard too much of it. I would love to hear even more about the goddess. But I feel like in the media and in the commercial aspect that there's a really interesting perspective of what goddess means, what it means to be feminine in a lot of ways. And there's kind of this iconic image of a goddess being all divine, all perfect, with no, real emotional issues, and she doesn't suffer. She's above everything, kind of like this queenly essence that she's like untouchable. That's not the goddess. The goddess can be ugly. The goddess can be ruthless and strong and vulnerable, but a true goddess is one that is aligned with nature, aligned with her inner self. And she goes through the whole reason that she's a goddess is because she can hold the pain of the world and still stand up straight. It's not about doing some asanas and going through some, weekend course of inner awakening your feminine energy. It is embodying the grief of the world and saying, yes, give me more. Thank you. Because I am vulnerable and deep and compassionate enough to hold this and to speak the truth of myself and for the people around me. It's ugly. It's not this beautiful, all white, all of service part. It's of both worlds. So I want you to define your own goddess. What is the sign of your Venus? Mine, Venus in Virgo. Let me tell you how she works. Maybe another time, but this is what I'm trying to invoke in you is please Do not think that you are not a goddess because you do not have this perfect connection to your inner light, and that you don't wear white and these little crystals, or wear the perfect everything and have the perfect yoga body and the perfect, shall I go on? Who is your goddess? What is your creative self? This is the real question that by the end of this week, I want you to have a clear picture of. Write her down, or him. Give him a name. What is this creative self? What is this goddess that lives within you that you embody in your life? This is what the unicorn magic is saying. When and where do you embody your magic? Thank you, dear ones. This is a very powerful week. If you need to know how to work with this moon energy in your own life, I do coaching and work with you one-on-one. I also lead groups. I am starting a ritual storytelling online course where we work with the moon archetypes, how they apply in your life, and how to rewrite and to change the lens of your life that you see through. So you can learn more on my website at nicolemarie.eu, or if you have any questions, email me at hello@nicolemarie.eu. Until then, blessed, blessed, blessed be.